Originality is everything. I tell people, they say, Howie, which team are you a fan of? I say, I look in that mirror every day. That's who I'm a fan of, Howie P. That's the guy I got to fight for. That's the guy I got to root on because that's the only guys that make a difference in my life. You got to be you, be real, be proud.
Hey guys, if you're like me, you're constantly looking for healthier meals, and it's always a struggle, especially while you're traveling. This past weekend, for example, I was visiting my daughter out of town, and I was on the road for over 12 hours. Every rest stop has the same garbage. It's a few fast food chains and the same snacks shelf to shelf that are jam-packed with preservatives, right? Here's the other kicker. I eat plant-based, so when I'm on the go, my options dwindle down to next to nothing, right? So trying to find a healthier option for my daughter is even more difficult. I got some good news for all the parents out there and anybody who's looking to eat healthier. I'm excited to tell you that those days are coming to an end. I discovered Mighty Yum, which was created by two health and fitness entrepreneurs inspired to transform how families eat on the go. With high-quality plant-based ingredients and yummy flavors, their food is loved by kids and trusted by parents. Mighty Yum offers a nutritious twist to your favorite foods and plant-based fun for everyone. Well, today's guest is one of those co-founders of Mighty Yum, and he's also an inventor of Stealth Core Trainer, a revolutionary fitness product and tech platform sweeping the world by storm, helping people get lean and fit while playing fun games on their phones. Welcome to the show, Howard Panis.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me, man. It's Howie P, the $1 billion brand builder, health is wealth guy. For me, I lead my life number one with health. Health is the most important thing.
Like so many people talk about it, Howard, but you're doing it. You are doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you got to do it every day.
He's got the guns out, guys. If you're listening and you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out. He's showing off the guns right now. Let's dive right in, brother. MightyYum.com. And walk us through the inspiration for creating it, and also why plant-based and why the focus on kids.
Yeah, it's a great question. 340 million kids around the world suffering from diabetes, heart disease, and health-related diseases from bad food. Food that's basically being produced by these mega food companies and poisoning our kids. A good buddy of mine started a fresh, healthy meal plan delivered to the home out of college. He was a personal trainer just like me, and we connected through mutual friends. His clients always told him, the training is great, but I need to lose weight. So he created the meal plan, and that worked really great. This way they had no excuse of not to lose the body fat with having the healthy meals delivered every day to their home. And over the years, he's pitched me different ideas. And this past May, he said to me, Howie, he has 3 young kids. I have 3 older kids. Combined, we have 6 kids, and, we love our children. We want to see our children healthy and prosperous. And with health being number one, he said to me, these big companies with these animals looking at the same eye height when you go into the supermarkets, mesmerizing our kids to buy bad foods with high sugar, high GMO, basically cheap ingredients. You got high sugar content, massive amounts of sodium, and you got genetically modified ingredients. He said, I want to put an end to this. And I said to him, well, tell me about it. He says, we should do like a plant-based Lunchable. We should take the nostalgic foods like the Rice Krispie and make it healthy, plant-based, better for you. Help millions of kids, help parents, make it easier for them to get fast food on the go that's healthy. And I said to him, you know what? This is brilliant. Sign me up. And Mighty Yum was born. Plant-based fun for everyone. The kids love it, and the parents, while the kids aren't looking, they're sneaking bites as well. So it's our mission to really help educate the kids at a young age, that healthy food can taste great, and parents love the clean ingredient profile. And I'll tell you, we just got a yes from Costco, which is a big yes on the West Coast.
Yeah.
For back to school. And, when I read about Lunchables being served at all the schools, I was, made me sick inside. I don't have to work, but I love and I'm passionate about doing things that make a difference, for the people out, in the U.S., international, anything that can help people live their lives healthier, easier, better, give them a better way, a better method, like you're doing on your podcast. How can we shortcut and make people more successful? Same thing with Mighty Yum. How can we shortcut, create something great that'll make a huge difference in kids' lives and let them be healthier? Brain cognitivity. When you eat clean, you think better. You ask why plant-based. I did it myself to test it for 2 years. I had more brain clarity. My free testosterone was twice as high. I felt better. You don't have those sugar, you don't have the sugar spikes. Your insulin levels stay more level. So when you go plant-based, your digestive system and everything works so much better. And you have so much, less detrimental chemicals going into your body. I love fish, but you get heavy metal in your body. Some people don't realize how much this affects your clarity of your thought process. So he came to me, that was May. Fast forward to today, and we're probably in 500, supermarket doors, 1,000 convenience stores, and we're producing tens of thousands of units weekly in our own facility that nobody wanted to co-pack for us because it was too expensive. The margins are real small, and this is really why I realized that nobody else is in the space, because it's hard to do. It's hard to do. It's expensive. The margins are small. It doesn't look sexy. But what's sexy about it is you're helping people. You're helping people live a healthier life. For me, this is the passion behind every play that I do. It's got to really get me up. I got to spring out of bed in the morning to be excited about what I'm doing, because money's not exciting. What's exciting is results, getting people excited, finding a better solution. And for me, this is how I live my life. Health is wealth, baby. Number one.
I got to jump in here, Howard. I'm excited over here. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you could see me. I'm just like eating this up. That has to be the most powerful first couple minutes of a podcast right there. Welcome to Mic'd Up, everybody. Howard P. dropping some gold right there. Mic drop moments right out of the gate. I want to say a couple things, brother. As a parent, as I mentioned, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and so she's Lunchable age, right? That's what she's, and it's tough because I'm co-parenting with my ex-wife. So a lot of times I'll find out that she's doing the drive-through or whatever. And I understand sometimes, as a parent, you get caught up in that and stuff. And I'm not a perfect parent either. Like, I'll go through the drive-through when I need to. And that's kind of what I mentioned at the top of the show. It's frustrating. What I love about what you said is you created products that are already going to be attractive to the kids, right? It looks like a Lunchables, but it's a healthier version and it tastes great as well. You got the Rice Krispie treat, with different flavor options. The packaging looks great. If you guys are tuning in, you can see the Mighty Yum logo on Howard, on his hat right there. It's colorful, looks great. Your website is, I was shopping on that last night. It looks great. It functions well. I see the store listings, and now you're in Costco. So cheers to that and your continued success. And there's going to be hundreds more stores coming probably by the time this episode comes out,
We got the turkey and cheese. We got the pepperoni pizza. We got the ham and cheese. It's all plant-based, kosher, non-GMO. Most plant-based food doesn't taste good. It was only until recent that the guy Mark, who's my good friend as well and my business partner, the flavor, the texture, the color, it had to be a 10 out of 10, because you can only fool a kid once. And kids aren't going to eat salads.
Not coming back.
Kids aren't eating salads, and the vegetables
Protein
don't
shake.
taste. Yeah. We're not pushing veganism. It's just basically, hey, how can we sneak in a plant-based meal that we know is healthy, better for you, has got good protein, half the amount of sodium, non-GMO. Kids will be satisfied. They'll be excited because the packaging, like you said, we have a little plant-eating animals that we created, like Eddie the elephant, and it's super exciting when I see how excited the kids get. It gets me so excited for what we're doing and the mission we're on.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing too, like that it gets you out of bed excited, and it may not be, the most profitable business model, but that's not why you're doing it. And you've had success in many other businesses as well, so you've had that kind of story there too. We'll talk about that in a moment, but this is something where you feel great about it. You know that you're helping the world, have easier access to great foods. And I mentioned I'm plant-based too, and I know what you're talking about. You get options. And a lot of times I wasn't even eating the fake meat, because it's like, no, I don't want it to, like, the fake meat isn't tasting like the real thing. And so I just don't even want it. But now there's more options out there. There are some really great things. I just got to be careful too to see where they're packaged and what processing happens. You still got to be careful, read your labels and know what you're actually looking for. But it is great to see that there's more options now, and truly healthier options. Like you said, the lower sodium, you got to watch all this stuff. Added sugars. I mean, yeah, you can make something taste good. Then you look at the back and there's, 25 grams of added sugar, and you're like, holy smokes.
Yeah,
like,
we have zero, and we have zero
Yeah.
added sugar in our lunch kits,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Zero sugar. So,
Right.
Yeah, sugar's like death.
It is. MightyYum.com. And I'll just say this, I'm going to be placing an order for myself to check them out. My daughter's going to be stacking up on these for lunch. But I'm someone who, I've had a lot of digestive health issues. I talked a little bit about this on the show. I've had other health experts on. And once I went gluten-free, I realized that gluten was killing me and dairy was killing me. And obviously when I cut out dairy, I was happy to do that, because that industry, I'm not really, happy about what's going on there and stuff. And I just noticed my body did feel better, and there was more clarity, and I don't feel bogged down. The second I cheat, if I'm traveling, it's usually what happens, and I'll grab something quick, and it's got, maybe it has a little bit of dairy in the meal. Like I'll get a plant-based burger and it still has like cheese on it and stuff. I will immediately feel sick. I feel bogged down. I feel sick. I don't feel as clear in the head. And it's directly connected to what we're putting in our body. Our body's a machine, as you know. And if you don't put junk in your car, hoping it goes down the road, why would you put junk in your body and hope that your machine's going to work better?
It's so important what you're saying. Entrepreneurs always look for the secrets of making money and, how to improve their business. But in my mind, it's increasing the performance of your brain cognitivity and also just your energy function. So what you said is so true. You have a hot rod, you're putting sand in the gas tank, you're trying to run a quarter mile as fast as you can, but the car don't move. Well, this is the reality in life. When you're eating shitty food, if I could say, and you're clogging your whole system up, you're not going to have the performance in your life, the thought process, the energy levels. For me, this is what has made me successful. That energy, the passion, this is what drives all my businesses. And, I'll just drop these few things here. Sleep, number one, right? We know you got to get your sleep. You lack of sleep, you're working too many hours, your performance is going down. And by the way, you might get Alzheimer's at a earlier age. Hydration, and intermittent fasting. I don't know if you do intermittent fasting, but intermittent fasting is great because this is something that'll help clean out your whole system. For entrepreneurs, it's important to have sleep, hydration, intermittent fasting. You get your 10,000 steps in a day, and you do 10 to 15 minutes of strength training a day. Those are 5 habits. And by the way, in our Stealth Fitness app, we have a free app download at Stealth Fitness on the App Store. And we have a program called Hacker, and it's free. And you're just hacking habits,
Hacking
and you have
habits.
you have those 5, those 5 key habit hacks, and your life is going to change. Like you
Right.
have all these shows, you've been consistent, you're successful. You got to do it every day.
Right. Awesome to come back to that. I mean, habits, right? So the highest performers, whether it's in sports, business, entertainment, whatever it is, they have habits behind what they do. It's just not an accident that they get to a desired goal. Now, you can do all the right things and still maybe fall short on a goal, but I'll take the guy or gal who's got the game plan, who's doing, the discipline, and they're actually taking the swings, baseball reference, they're swinging the bat. So now they have a better chance of success. And what you're talking about are really just building good habits for anybody to be healthy. But it obviously leads to you then in business and in life and whatever someone's tuning and listening to this, it's going to set you up for a track of success, because no matter what you do in life, business, entertainment, like I said, sports, doesn't matter, parenting, having things you can replicate, it's going to help you do all the other stuff. And I'm teaching Isabel that too, like the better habits, brushing your teeth in the morning and at night, and it's non-negotiable. Like it's something you do as part of your routine. She still wants to kind of cut the corner a little bit. And it's like, no, like this is just a simple thing. And you're going to have other simple things that you add into your routine every day. And it's going to make you a better human being. And it's hard for an 8-year-old to get it. But the more we can do it and lead by example, and they're picking up on what we do, not what we say.
You know what? That simple brushing your teeth is just like everything in life. It's just like, being consistent with whatever you do. People are like, well, if I work out, I got to do that forever. Yeah, you got to do it forever. And this is like the fountain of youth. This is better than any pill, any surgery, anything a doctor could offer you. It's the fountain of youth. For me, exercise and fitness, I think that's been my, I don't drink, I don't smoke, none of that. Never did. When people I'm like, nah, I don't drink. They're like, well, how long you been clean? How long you been sober? I'm like, no. Like right away they think you had a drinking problem because you don't drink. And it's so funny, that most people just think that, but just from a young age, I just never did. I was just always in health and fitness. And this has been the cornerstone of all my growth and all my consistency and commitment is, going in that Iron City, just starting at age 10 and pumping the iron, watching Arnold, watching Bruce Lee, listening to Tony Robbins. Right. I mean, these are my 3 go-tos when I was very young.
Yeah, that's a great little Mount Rushmore of influence and inspiration right there. I always do like to ask that question as well. What inspired you to get into this? I think you just shared a couple names there.
Yeah.
What about the entrepreneurial side of your story? Was there an influence early in life that you saw somebody who was kind of not in that 9-to-5 box and they were kind of doing some cool stuff that inspired you?
Yeah, so my grandparents came over here from Eastern Europe. My grandfather was a fruit cart vendor, built his own company. My grandmother was the strength behind the company. They had a big trucking company that they grew back, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Used to go there and, work I'd work weekends, nights. I'd do stamping. At the time there was a telex machine. That was before the fax machine. I was loading tractor trailers when I was 8, 7, 8, 9. And I just liked working with the big guys and, feel like I'm doing the real work, the real sweat work in 100-degree trailers. So while most kids were going to day camp, I was going to loading the trailer camp. And my mother,
school hard knocks.
Yeah, my mother was always an entrepreneur. She was into fashion. She had her own clothing stores. She was one of the first people to bring in like European kids sneakers. So she was very entrepreneurial. Where my father was more of, he was working call it the 8 to 11 p.m. 3 jobs while I was growing up. And I just saw my mother's entrepreneurship. She was pretty much super encouraging to, use your talents. And I had window cleaning businesses and snow shoveling, doing driveways, whatever I could to make a buck, because I saw, how making your own money and sort of being in control of your own destiny.
You're in control of that. You're in control of your own destiny.
Exactly. Being in control of your own destiny at a young age was very appealing to me. And so that was something I really grabbed hold on at a young age.
Well, you're a great example and a great role model for perseverance. I know that, and achieving massive success, right? Scaling it even further once you get to that level. And I know that's a goal. That's our mission, to help out people to level up who's tuning into the show. It's a lot of early stage entrepreneurs and people in that space from all different walks and industries. I know you've had 29 businesses fail before you scaled a business from 20 grand up to 100 million. So can you share what clicked and create that enormous growth? And is that the e-cig business?
Yeah, so that was the e-cig business. I could never hit the millions, but we skipped the millions and went to billions.
Oh my God.
It was a full-on rocket ship. And I don't want to forget this, but when I was on a plane flight and I was thinking about sort of why was my name Howie? What was that name given to me at birth? And I sort of came up with, the acronym of what those, what my letters stand for. And the H is health, right? Health is number one. Health is wealth. If you got health, you got everything. You got the energy to do what you need to do, fall down, face in the mud, get up, and just keep going. There is no failure until you quit. There's only learning. So the H, health is wealth. The O is originality. Originality is everything. I tell people, they say, Howie, which team are you a fan of? I say, I look in that mirror every day. That's who I'm a fan of, Howie P. That's the guy I got to fight for. That's the guy I got to root on because that's the only guys that make a difference in my life.
Yeah.
You got to be you, be real, be proud. It's so hard for people to do that, but sometimes you got to focus on yourself, right? You got to look deep inside and find your inner strength. And this is so important. What's your passion? What's going to get you excited? It's not where can I make the next buck here? Jumping around to every party is never going to get you at the right event. At the winning show where the curtains open and you take your bow. The W, work hard. There's no hacking hard work. Everybody has the 4-hour work week. Tim Ferriss, come on, I never worked 4-hour week in my life. Probably 100-hour weeks for 20 plus years. But if you really want to scale big, you got to put the time in. Got to put the time in and the right time. You know what I mean? Got to focus on the right things and not get distracted. The I in Howie, innovate. Got to innovate. Can't be like everyone else. So many copycats out there. It's not easy to be original, but you got to innovate. You got to be different. Got to solve a problem. For me, when you talked about, electronic cigarettes, one of my biggest pet peeves, being a fitness guy, people be like, how the hell would you come up with e-cigarettes? Because tens of millions of people are dying from cigarettes. Their insides are just getting ruined. They're just dying. And they're, coronary artery disease, heart disease. Smoking is the worst thing. It just eats away at you. So, the innovation to be able to get people off deadly cigarettes by having something that replicates the hand to mouth, the flavor, the vapor, the nicotine is one of the most brilliant inventions of all time. And it works. It works. It's a nicotine delivery system with propylene glycol. I said, man, if I can get tens of millions of people off deadly cigarettes, could this be motivating for me and make money while I sleep? I said, man, this is it.
Yeah. Well, you're the second most, the second largest manufacturer in the U.S. when you were with So at the time we had number one sales per point of distribution. Uh-huh.
That means for every convenience store that we were at, we sold more than anybody else in the U.S.
It's incredible.
I mean, we were cranking, bro.
Now I need to know, what's the E? You got innovate, and then.
So I is for, you got to be innovative. You got to be different. Got to stand out. And the E is one of my favorites. Energy is everything. You got to lead with energy every day. That energy is key. It spreads. That great energy spreads. It excites people, and it gets shit done.
Yeah.
You got to have great energy.
So let's do the recap here for everybody. We got health, we got originality, work.
Yep, there you go.
Innovation, and energy. And dude, the second I met you, like the first 5 seconds, I felt all of that. I could really feel it. It's not just a gimmicky, acronym. It really is cool that you stand behind all those things and that it does actually spell out Howie as well. Man, I love this. This conversation's so good. We're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout. Give our love to our sponsors real quick. We're going to be right back with Howard P.
Podcasting is a great way to engage with your audience and stay consistently relevant. The only problem is you don't have the time or desire to produce your own show. You simply want it done for you. And that's where Social Chameleon comes in. All you need to do is press record and upload the files. We'll handle the rest. From planning, production, post-production, distribution, and digital marketing, we have you covered. We realize that times are tough and funds are tight, and Social Chameleon believes in building supportive business relationships. By clicking on the link in this promo, we'll provide you 7 free podcasting tips to get started, as well as a free 30-minute online consultation. This is the perfect opportunity for entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, industry experts, influencers, and anybody who has a personal brand. With Social Chameleon, we help you build a brand that is out of this world. We're ready and waiting, so what are you waiting for? Click on the link to get started today. Hey guys, it's Mike. I'd like to give a proper shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. Look, for a long time, I ran my business without really understanding the full financial picture. I used my gut and my bank account balance to make decisions, which led to some poor choices and constant stress over my business's finances. I knew something needed to change. At the beginning of 2021, I made a decision that helped pave a more clear path for my business. I started working with Navigator Bookkeeping. Since then, my bookkeeping has been handled for me. I now understand the full financial story of my business, making important financial decisions much easier now, and it helps me plan for where my business is going. I highly recommend giving Navigator Bookkeeping an opportunity to help your business. Check them out at navigatingyourbooks.com. Again, that's navigatingyourbooks.com. It's time to know the full financial story of your business.
All right, we're back in action with Howard P. And remember, you can connect with him. I got him on social media. All those links are clickable in the show notes. Mighty Yum is clickable there as well. And Stealth, got it all easy for you to find. We want to dive right back into conversation. We did the HOWIE, acronym right before the break, and I'm feeling your energy. And we could see it, like you're living, breathing what you preach, and you're putting it in a great practice. So now I want to pick your brain a little bit. This is the part of the show we want to dive a little deep, roll up our sleeves. I'm wondering, you've scaled businesses now multiple times. You've done this, dozens of times now, right? Can you kind of come up with your top three that pop in your head right now when I ask you this question? Top three key factors to successfully scale a business. What are the things you absolutely need to have in place?
I think the most important thing, number one, is you got to be able to execute. Execution is key. A lot of, tons of people have ideas. People come to me ideas all the time. I got $1 billion idea. Everyone's got $1 billion idea. But, the key is the market there? Is there a market for it? Right? And then if the market's there, are they going to pay for it? Does that show the value? We look at that. Is the market there? And what are they going to pay for it? And then once they can pay for it, how are we going to execute it? So those are three key ingredients that I look for. And I think, these days it's so easy to just, what we did our fitness company is to test it, right? We did a Kickstarter. Kickstarter's great. You don't even have to spend money to produce product. You just have to show, it could be a 3D prototype that you do on a computer. And then you just build the story, right? Because you got to have a story. Storytelling is key. What's your story? What's your story? What problems are you solving? And are those problems valuable that people are going to pay for your product? Everyone's got ideas. I get pitched every day. There must be 100 emails pitched on ideas.
Right. Well, you're a VC as well, right? In addition to running multiple businesses, you're a venture capitalist, correct?
Yes.
Right.
I invest probably over 100 companies.
Yeah. So of course, that means you got a lot of stuff flowing through your desk as far as get your eyeballs on this, see if it's something worth their time.
Yeah. Lots of stuff. There's so many things between the real estate. Then I'm a car collector, right? So I got a lot of cars. So I need a full-time guy just to handle all the cars. We're dealing with stuff today. Titles and services.
Right.
That's a full-time job for two people. But most importantly is, you're solving a problem. Is there a market? What are they going to pay? And for me, what I look for really now in all everything has to be healthy, better for you, solve a problem, help people live a better quality of life. For me, that's really sort of the space I look for now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if something comes to you, is there kind of like some key indicators that it's even going to be something you're looking for? Maybe the flip of that question is, if you see someone, it's a pitch, it's a pitch deck of some sort, and things that you see once you see it, you say, this is definitely not what I want. Anything jump out at you?
For me, it has to be health as well, right? It It has to be health, better for you, and it has to excite me. I think one of the, great lessons I got from a buddy of mine who's in his late 80s, multi-billionaire, he taught me a great lesson, which I've lost millions of dollars, is never be the first guy in. Never be the first guy in a deal. It's okay to pay more for a valuation. Let there be revenue, right? See the success, get in a little bit later, it's okay, and make a little less.
Yeah.
Make a lot less, but don't be the first guy in.
Right.
And I was the first guy in many times, lost millions. And that's, for anybody who's a VC or looking to invest in any other, a startup, it's super high risk.
Yeah.
It's super high risk.
It's like getting in a vehicle, but you don't even know if it can go 10 feet, opposed to seeing it driving down the street. And then you're like, all right, I'll jump on before we get into the long distance trip here. But I seen that this thing can handle the couple turns, and now I want to jump on. Right. So that's kind of the analogy I'm thinking of, is you wouldn't want to jump on first before you know if it's even going to get you safely just a couple feet in front of your face. I know for the sake of time, I want to keep rolling here, brother. This is really good stuff.
Yep.
Something that we talk about in the show quite a bit is the term financial freedom. Everybody seems to have a little bit of a different definition. You're financially successful. If you chose next week, you could take the whole week off and you're not going to be worried about it. Probably take a couple months off if you wanted to, right? But I know you're obsessed with the missions you're on, and so that's why you're putting in 100 hours a week. For you, how do you define financial freedom?
For me, at this point in my life, I'm not logging the 100 hours. I did that when I had my fitness company, and I was building Logic, my electronic cigarette company, and then I launched Stealth Fitness when I sold my e-cig company. I said I was going light on my hours at 60, 70 hours. I was down 30% on my hourly clock. I think for, now I've set up, teams to run the different companies that, that I'm invested in and have a significant interest in. But for me, financial freedom is being, not having that, those heavy worries on my head about paying bills that I had for decades. Wondering, robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was just, talking to a few buddies of mine saying, basically 13 years ago, I had a tough time. I was going through divorce. I had a tough time paying $2,500 a month rent. Now, it's a different ball game.
Does that still fuel you though? Because that moment that you felt where the hell's $2,500 going to come from? It felt like the end of the world to come up with that. Do you still feel that in your gut now as a reminder daily as why you're working hard still?
Listen, I have to, I bought this pad and I bought this. It's a Moroccan palace, and I can do. I can show you the glass roof before we get off because it's pretty motivating. It actually has it has a retractable glass roof.
Yeah.
But every time I walk in here, or I see my car collection, or I see the lifestyle I'm living, I got to pinch myself because I'm like, shit. 13 years ago, I had nothing but a dream and the belief that I could really, hit the big time. And for me, I look at every expense. I think it's important. A lot of entrepreneurs say, and I see young kids or guys flying private, spending 20, 30 grand for a round trip. I don't spend money like that. Like, I can never see the value behind throwing money away like that. I evaluate every dollar still. And I think that's key. You gotta watch your money.
Yeah. I'd say the most successful people I know, whether it's business partners I've worked with in the past or clients of mine that are highly successful and financially successful, they all are very, very particular, and they can tell you where every dollar is going in their business. And it's not by accident that they have accumulated a lot of wealth. They got the streams working, and they understand if there's an issue, they can speak to it. It's not just I think I'm doing pretty good. We'll figure the rest out later, So it's not, again, we go back to that discipline early on in the conversation today.
Yeah.
About having all those right things in place, which helps build that financial success. You can call it financial freedom.
You have to oversee. Listen, financial freedom is great. And if you want that though, you have to be disciplined in your approach to look over the businesses that, if you have majority interest, that you're looking over them each and every week.
Right.
I always say treasure what you measure.
Exactly.
And, You have to, this place that in California is probably like 16,000 square feet. We have full-time people here every day, whether it's, it's the gardeners, or, they're working inside, or the pool people, or the roofing, or, it's a lot of work, but I like to oversee what everyone's doing. You gotta look, you gotta listen, you gotta learn, and I like to know everything that's going on.
So good.
And it's important, no matter what it's your business, whether it's your home, whether it's your autos, whether it's your relationships, you gotta check in, gotta take inventory. It's very important.
It's the opposite of someone who's checked out. You see them checked out in business, checked out in a 9 to 5, checked out in their marriage, and stuff is going on and it's accumulating. And then all of a sudden, when you go to that meeting, couples meeting, trying to fix something, it's like, are you kidding me? This wedge is so large. We have to spend multiple years just getting through this stuff, because when you're disconnected like that, it allows all these problems to pour in. So you're monitoring in the moment. So if a problem happens, okay, it's going to happen. You take care of it in 15 minutes and not allow it to be this multiple year issue that's going on, right?
100%. You got to take action. Procrastination is the worst thing in the world. But this is super important, is take risks. You don't have to be perfect in the things you do. If I'm 50, 60% feeling good, I'm going to go do it. You're not going to look stupid. There's always someone who knows more than you. There's tons of people who know more than me. I tell people, definitely not the smartest guy. I get shit done. I'll not hustle anybody. There's a million people smarter than me.
Right.
But
you partner with them. You bring them on board so you could use their brain and they could use your...
I got much smarter guys working with me.
Exactly.
And it's great. We all do our special, part.
Right.
And mine is to energize, inspire, and put the vision out there of where we want to go. Really put that future vision of where we're headed into space. And they're like, yeah, I like that.
I'll say this, man. Again, I've had over 180 guests on. I really love this conversation. One of my favorites because of your energy level, but also I feel that any successful company needs somebody like you. They need a Howard P to get the thing connected, right? To get people energized, even to do go door to door, knocking on grocery stores. Hey, we got this awesome thing. And now it's all virtual. You're doing Zoom call to Zoom call. Yeah. Right. They need a Howard P.
I was doing that last week. I was presenting with my partner last week. We went to Milo's in Miami to present to the owners.
Yeah.
They're like, who you're sending? What do you mean we're going?
I'm going. I'll see you there.
We get on every broker call with every buyer from every supermarket. We do the work. We're not leaving it up to brokers to do our job. We have them connect us, and then my partner and my other partners get on, and we take it to the finish line, baby.
Nobody is going to do it better than you. Nobody's going to do that better than you.
That's right. No one's doing better than us. You got to do your own shit.
Yeah.
You can hire some people some of the time, but you got to get in there and do it to do the big stuff.
And if you don't have that energy, it's simply not going to work. Can't have somebody else go and pitch your idea. Like if you're not excited about it, nobody else is going to be more excited than the initial entrepreneur who comes up with the idea. And if you're not, then I'd say go on to the next thing, right?
Yeah. And by the way, just so I don't forget, there's an event. I think it's June 16th to the 18th, RiseCon. So RiseCon is a entrepreneur. It's the biggest entrepreneur event to ever hit Tampa, and my buddy Vic's putting it on. It's called the RiseCon. RiseCon.com. I'm going to be on the 100 mil panel there. But they have, Grant Cardone will be there, and Magic Johnson, a bunch of the big, celebrities you see all the time.
People can get an online access pass to this as well, or is it you have to be in person?
Yeah. Well, actually, I have tickets. I'm not making any commission, but I have tickets because I'm going to be there on my Instagram on the link there, so they can get them if they want.
Yeah, send that link to me. We'll put it in the show notes so everybody can go ahead and click on that and get the tickets. Yeah,
so that's exciting. It's exciting. I mean, when you get 1,200, 1,300 entrepreneurs in the Tampa Stadium there, it's going to be epic.
Let's bring this thing home here. I always talk about gratitude. It's super important to me to start and end every day with gratitude. incorporate my daughter into this. And when we have dinner together, we always talk about 1 to 3 things that we're grateful for, right? So I'm wondering, I know you're a family man, you got a big heart, and people who are buying your Mighty Yum products are kind of like your extended family. Wonder what are 3 things you're most grateful for?
So the things I'm most grateful for, number 1 is my health, right? I thank God every day that I'm healthy, I'm strong, that I have a positive mind, and that I'm able to inspire people, get them to feel better and really make a difference in the world. And I'm grateful also for my kids, my kids and my relationship, my girlfriend, my relationships. And I'm really grateful my parents are still around, and that my family's close. So these are things, that I'm blessed, blessed every day, my health, my kids, my family, these are most important. And also, grateful that I have great people that surround me, that I was, yes, I have great energy. You got to be lucky too in life. And then I have great people that help support me and, help the missions that we're doing, be successful, and then I can count on them. So that's super important. And I don't want to forget before we leave, I just want to talk about stealth fitness real quick, because how important. So you talked about, how important is your daughter, brushing your teeth. It's like 2-3 minutes in the morning, 2-3 minutes at night. Back in 2017, when I sold my e-cig company 2 years before, was bored. I was like, okay, what am I do next? I said, I was doing planks. I saw millions of people doing planks, staring down at their phone going, oh my God, this is the most boring thing in the world. But planks are the best exercise. If you can do one exercise for your body and hitting all the muscles and really challenging yourself, it's a plank. So I said, wow, this is boring as heck. If I can gamify it, make it fun and exciting, I have something there. So I created Stealth Fitness. I gamified the planking experience. And I said, listen, 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes at night will really change your life with Stealth. And that's how the idea was born. And we kickstarted it. We did 400K in sales. We built out a subscription platform, started building out the games. We sold over 1 million Stealth boards. So we have 1 million users, over 1 million users monthly, planking and gaming, having fun. Then about 5 months ago, we came out with the squat trainer, because squatting is one of the best exercises. So we have hundreds of thousands of people doing our squat training weekly. And then our best product, which is not our last, but I think will be our most popular, is our Stealth Cycle, which is going to come out fourth quarter, where you're gaming and cycling and you're actually working your upper body. We built a resistance handlebar and you're actually playing the game while you're cycling, and so cool. So it's all about sneaking fitness in, finding it fun, all the things I like, we talked about hacking work time. Well, we're hacking exercise time here, and that you can do with Stealth Fitness.
I love the gamifying component, because a lot of times it's me versus me, right? It's I'm looking at the person in the mirror. How can I get better? But there is something about also like being in a community where everybody's rooting each other on, and there's some friendly competition of I'm going to hold this longer. I'm going to get more squats. And I'm going to do this. You see your numbers, you see your growth over time, and making it more simple is a big part of it, because people, if it's clunky, if it doesn't, function 100% at the time, or it's hard to see your stats, you're going to lose some. Like you said, the kid who has one bad food experience is never going to go back and try broccoli again, or whatever it is, if they don't like it on the first try. Adults are the same way with apps and technology now. It's like, if it didn't work the first time, and you tell me about it like a year later, and probably I'm not going to go, oh, let me give them another shot, So it's really cool that you figured out a way to simplify that, gamify it, and get people involved and still doing the same exercises they're doing, but making it more enjoyable. Really, really awesome, brother.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to send you one. And our Facebook has like 75,000 members.
Yeah.
So they're constantly pushing each other. And you're right.
Well,
Having a great community where everybody's sharing their positive experiences. Some people starting a little rougher in the beginning, saying it's hard, start out on your knees, then go to your toes, but everybody needs inspiration. So you got to find where your inspiration's at.
Yeah.
And with Stealth, it's been amazing. And Mighty Yum.
I have a Mighty Yum follow-up question, and then I got my last question for you, and I'll let you run. Mighty Yum, do you see the potential to have that like a second line of products more for any age? I know that this is very much focused on kids and that's a big part of it, but what about just maybe like, more food for adults as well?
Yeah. So basically all it takes is really, that sort of that plastic film on top. We're just going to have a different image on there. And then we're probably, we already got requested when we had meetings with Costco, maybe doing like, you talk about gluten intolerance for adults, because kids really don't, many kids, kids won't eat gluten-free products. They'll just spit them out. But for adults, the gluten-free market is really there. So we're definitely already doing the R&D to launch gluten-free Mighty Yum as well for adults. I think that'll be great. And no, I mean, adults are eating our product. It's like a full meal and they're loving it. So, and the bars too, we're making a bigger bar from I think a 22 ounce to a 32 ounce bar. So no, very exciting. We use puffed ground rice, a vegan marshmallow binder. We use coconut oil in there for brain cognitivity. So you're getting all the good stuff without the bad stuff.
Yeah, that's so good, man. This is awesome. Last one for you, and I can have you back on again because I know you're going to be continuing to do more things. I want people to check out the event you have coming up in June. Think of it this way, man. You're the author and protagonist in your own life story, and you get to write the ending. God willing, you continue to live a long and healthy and prosperous life. You're looking back on it and you're reflecting. You get to define your legacy. What would that be?
For me, my legacy, I mean, I just want to put as much good out there as possible, for people. And, when I'm long gone, I just basically want to always be something where people think, hey, you know what? That guy made a difference. I was able to push further. He helped me believe in myself. I think helping people believe in themselves and helping them be able to achieve things they never thought possible is probably one of the best legacies for me. And by the way, that was the health is wealth guy.
Well, stealth is wealth, health is wealth. That's the theme of the show.
Yeah.
Probably going to work its way into the title somehow. But this is so good. I love the fact that you're doing the things that you're talking about, the big picture stuff, you're doing it. The everyday things, you're doing it. The little disciplines that build up and stack wins, you're doing all that. Not by any surprise, Really love your story, love your focus, love the energy you have. Mighty Yum is awesome. Stealth is awesome. I'm sure so many people are going to be clicking through all that stuff to check you out. I did have one question on the e-cigs, because that industry gets, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, the initial push on it made sense because it's helping people get off of cigarettes, and that's really the worst thing. You're putting all those toxins in your body, and it's clearly the science is there to show how horrible that is. And so e-cigs are helping that. But then there's also some concerns that came up with that. Can you speak to that real quick? I just wanted some clarity on it, on the industry itself.
What concerns are you? What concerns?
The vapor and like some, maybe, I don't know if it's the flavored stuff, but I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. You got to do my own homework on it first, but is there any health concerns or do you feel good about that?
So really the only negative thing that was happening a lot toward the tail end of when I was going to sell my company was a lot of companies were pushing flavors, and flavors attract children. They attract kids, high school, For us, we were very responsible. At one point, we had flavors. That report came out from FDA. We took out all flavors, so we only had basically tobacco and menthol. So we stuck with those two. This is why we got acquired. We were very responsible. We cut all online. Everything went to the convenient where ID was checked. So, but then later on, other companies pumped very high levels of nicotine, made it very addicting, But we, it's incredible. 5 years. I mean, we sold hundreds of millions of units, and one, people say, Howie, if you go in that business, you're gonna be in jail and broke. I go, why? Well, because that stuff's going to be illegal, and someone was they're going to kill people. That stuff's bad for you.
Yeah.
And the reality was, with the with the amount of business we did, we never had one lawsuit, not one.
That's why I wanted to ask the question to speak to it, because I know that there's other people may have that question in the back of their head when we talked about it. So
never had one. We had one lawsuit that someone said it activated in my Louis Vuitton handbag and burned it, and you guys are responsible. I think there was something like that, back in 2012. But when Japan Tobacco came to buy us, they went through every customer email, hundreds of thousands, could have been millions. They had guys going through everything. I mean, first of all, Japanese do the toughest due diligence, and we sold through Goldman. So when you're in Goldman's data room and they're doing heavy diligence, they're going to your nicotine factory. They're testing the nicotine. I mean, there's tens of thousands of little data points that have to be met in order to close that deal. And that whole process,
and you
kept me on edge, because it was incredible. I mean, it was like out of a movie.
And then right after that, you got into stealth, right? You quickly went on to the next move.
Yeah. So, the point is, there's many points that have come out. Obviously, burning tobacco and, inhaling it, the tar, the tobacco is just a killer. With e-cigs, it's the nicotine, and propylene glycol is used in foods by the FDA. So those are two main ingredients. So nicotine does cause blood vessel constriction, right? But there's no cancer there, from anything I've ever read. So for me, I was never a smoker. I'll never will be a smoker, but I think it's a smoker's dream to be able to transition from, the combustion to the electronic is one of the greatest inventions of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it's doing so much, it's replacing something that, and then the benefit obviously is, like you said, the tar, the smoke. I mean, it's just, if you actually physically think about what's happening when you're smoking a cigarette, I just, the appeal to me is immediately so far gone. I did smoke a little bit. When I was in a band, there was never a peer pressure thing, but I smoked a little bit, Camel Blues or whatever they were at the time. And then I got
Camels. Yeah, no filter. Those things are strong.
Yeah. And then I went from that to, they're called Jarum Black, Curate cigarettes made in Indonesia. They're literally black and they kind of have a crackle to them. And they had a little cherry filter or something that gave them a little flavor. So, when I was 20 or whatever, I would find those, and they were kind of like if I was hanging out in summertime, it would be something I'd enjoy. But I was able to thankfully just cold turkey be like, I don't want to do this stuff anymore, and I quit it. But I know people struggle. They need a transition. They need to go to the e-cigarette to transition out of it.
Listen, I would recommend anyone go cold turkey before,
That was just a challenge to myself. I was like, I know people cannot, cold turkeys is so hard to do. But I remember being at the time I was, 25, somewhere in there. And I just remember telling myself, I'm going to prove to myself I could do this. If I could do this, I could, teach my brain I can do anything, kind of thing. And that helped me. But I know that doesn't always work. Plus, I didn't have the years. Some people, they're smoking for 25 years. It's not as easy to jump ship then,
No, nicotine's one of the, it's more addictive than heroin or cocaine. I mean, people can't go, people can't go 20, 30 minutes without it. So it's highly addictive. But it was super exciting to get back into health and fitness and create stealth after I sold Logic, and stealth has been phenomenal. I mean, I have great business partners, and funny story is, I'll just make it quick, is one of my sort of a mentor or guys I look up to, the guy who invented the ab roller back in 95, that sold over $1 billion worldwide. When I had my first fitness invention back in 2000, the energy ball, it was the world's first medicine ball with interlocking handles. I spent all my money marketing at trade shows, QVC I was on, but I went to this guy's booth who was like the guy, and I was hawking his booth. They'd be like, yeah, the guy Howie's here. He's like, tell him I'm not here. And I followed this guy for years and tried to get him to help me, but he was busy, cashing in his tens of millions off his ab roller. And the point is, I stayed in touch with this guy. So the story was basically that was year 2000 or even before, I think maybe 98. And I stayed in touch with him for years and years. And I had his email, and then I got his phone number on an airplane ride. But staying in touch with him, I said to him, I had this e-sync thing I'm working on. You want to get in? Because I knew he was like the infomercial king. And I was thinking, maybe he'll help me launch this on infomercial. He's like, I don't like that cigarette stuff. I would never be into that. I'm like, all right. And then I stayed in touch with him over the years, told him, dude, I broke 100 million in sales. He's like, what?
Yeah,
he's like, the next
interesting.
thing you do. He's like, the next thing you do. And by the way, here's my phone number. The next thing, get in touch with me. So when I had the idea for Stealth, I called him up. I said, Don, I got the next thing. He's like, Howie, I'm in. and he was in my Kickstarter. But you know what? This was 18 years later. I stayed in touch with him. And now these guys who were part of this other company called the Abs Company came on board. I said, listen, we could create a $1 billion fitness tech vertically integrated brand. Now it's called Stealth, where we create the products, we create the gaming, we basically control everything, manufacturing. So we're vertically integrated and we control our destiny. And we've been partners now for the last 6 years, and they've been the best. So you gotta keep in touch. You gotta keep those touch points. Nothing's easy. Nothing great is easy, guys.
Yeah, you've had so many great points, and I love that one of remembering that at the end of the day, it's about the people, it's the connections within your organization, the day-to-day. It's about the people that are on your property right now, making that house be able to do what it does. And on the business side, you got people in your business that are doing it. But then you got someone 18 years ago you connected with, but you knew that the seed was planted. You had to keep watering that until that eventually, there's an actual plant that you have to water for 5 years. I forget the name of it. It's like a Japanese, that's big. You ever see these things? They grow and they're like 100 feet tall. I forget the name of the tree, but it takes 5 years before you actually see anything grow. So most people give up on it, but you didn't give up. You kept watering the garden and finally got the fruit that.
Let me show you the garden in my house.
Let's see this.
Let me show you
There's the garden.
Look.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, botanical gardens right here at Howard P's.
Yeah. I tell people that's hard work paying off. And we got the spa there, the retractable glass roof. And
Very
I'm
cool.
grateful for it every day.
You could host that event with, with all the stars, Cardone and his buddies, right at your house.
Yeah,
Just have it right there.
I actually had an event here in October called Think Billions Experience. It was health, wealth, and mindset, and I had 100 entrepreneurs come from around the U.S. here and serve them organic food, no alcohol. And they're like, what the heck? I'm like, yeah, this is called cleaning it up, getting the work and getting it done. Yeah, so.
It's funny that we recorded this interview today because I literally just on Instagram, like twice in the same day, it's probably the algorithm, but I saw somebody found McDonald's French fries, and it was like in an old house. It was like the workers who were building the home like had left them, and then they put the drywall up and stuff, and then as they like remodeled, it was like 70 years ago or whatever, they found the French fries. They were still in their form, which obviously is super scary. And then I also saw this thing, which is why I wanted to get Mighty Yum on and really talk about great options for food for kids as well, is the particular potato that's used for McDonald's fries. I don't know the name of it, but it's a longer potato because they want that kind of aesthetic, the taller fry that comes in the the red box, right? And that potato, whatever, they actually spray it with all this stuff, right? When they're farming it, and all these chemicals and everything to get it to be perfect, because naturally it can have like discoloration.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They'll throw those ones away. So they actually modify it with this horrible toxins and shit that they're spraying on it. So that doesn't happen, right? So it grows to be this perfect, fake potato basically. And then after all that happens, they have to allow it to sit. The actual farmers won't even go there for 5 days. They won't even go near it. Can you imagine something that, people put in their body for 5 days. And there it is. And then they have to let it sit for weeks before they can actually do anything with the product. So right there, it's like, that's all you got to really know is how toxic this shit is.
When I was living in China, we were manufacturing our e-cigs. They had fruit on the table. It would last for, it would last for 6 weeks. It would look the same. The grapes, they would be the same. But this is the Mighty Yum, the pizza.
Right there.
That's the pepperoni pizza right there.
Well, you have a new customer here, and I'm sure a lot of people tuning in are going to fall in love with the products as well. Again, they can go get those right at mightyyum.com, right?
Yeah, you did a great job, Mike. It's a great show, Mike. I want to tell you, you're great. You have great energy, and you're probably a great parent too. It's not easy to co-parent, and I always say you can never control somebody else, so you can just do the best on your end. And that's pretty much the advice I do of any parents that are co-parenting is, you can only control yourself and the lessons that you are there for your kids. And so I think you'll probably do a great job, and this has been a great show, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I'm learning that things are caught, not always taught, and she's really keeping a good eye on what I'm doing, my daughter. I believe that it's going to pay dividends down the road. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Constantly working on getting better personally, as a father, as a business leader of Social Chameleon. And this, again, like I said, was one of my favorite interviews. Howard P. Check him out, guys, on Instagram. Check those show notes out. You get more information. Thank you so much for your time on the show today.
Thanks, brother. It's been great.
I tell everybody the same 2 things. Be great and be grateful. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for hanging with us all the way until the end. If you haven't done it already, you can click right over here to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you're notified of all of the updates. If you guys like shorter clips, I have mic drop moments right here. That's when my guest gives an amazing insight, and we capture that right here. Mic drop moments, and down here are the full-length episodes. All my previous episodes are right there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're proudly powered by Social Chameleon. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.